Worldwide, 300 million surveillance cameras are watching us. On our streets, at work, and in our homes. They capture things that seem impossible.
It defies the laws of physics.
Oh, this is unbelievable, man.
Experts carry out forensic analysis of these unusual events.
There's got to be some explanation for what's going on.
Coming up, surveillance cameras capture a beast straight from a nightmare.
This is definitely something out of the ordinary, something very strange.
A cataclysmic roadside blast sparks fears of a nuclear disaster.
Is this the end times coming at me?
Scientists investigate unexplained balls of fire lighting up the skies.
They look distinctly odd.
And has this nanny cam captured a demonic possession?
This kid does a full-on exorcist.
Bizarre phenomena. Mysteries caught on surveillance. What's the truth behind this strange evidence? A dashboard-mounted camera records an apocalyptic event.
The entire horizon line has been lit up by whatever it is that's happening.
This is truly terrifying. Something catastrophic has been captured on camera. The question is what?
St. Petersburg, Russia, February 6, 2012, 9:13 a.m. Rush hour traffic in the country's cultural capital. A dashcam records a regular commute. As the driver hits a traffic jam on the highway, the camera captures an extraordinary apparition.
Something big and bad just happened. It's big, bright light. Lots of energy.
Drivers slam on their brakes and brace for impact.
If I was sitting behind the wheel of the car, I would really be concerned, is this the end times coming at me?
What was that? No one knows, and that's the scariest part.
Experts race to explain this terrifying event.
The speculation begins immediately, and there are no answers forthcoming. All that people know is that whatever happened couldn't have been good.
This isn't the first time a blinding blast has lit up Russian skies. Chelyabinsk, 2013. Another morning commute caught on camera.
People on their way to school, on their way to work, looked up and saw a bright streak of light racing across the sky.
A 60-foot wide meteor hits the upper atmosphere at 40,000 miles an hour.
Mostly our atmosphere protects us from space rocks, which is very lucky for us. But every so often, there are pieces that are big enough to get through.
The Chelyabinsk meteor creates a flash brighter than the sun. Its sonic boom shatters windows across the city. But when experts analyze the St. Petersburg dashcam footage, they notice something strange.
There's a clue that rules out this being a meteorite, and that's that you see multiple flashes. So if this were a meteorite, you would see one explosion and it'd be done.
But we didn't see that. This was clearly something else.
Physicist Diana Cowan studies the footage. She detects the potential signs of a more sinister type of explosion.
It's amazing that this low-quality dash cam captured the different colors of the explosion, so we see blues and yellows. And that's a key to what's happening.
Within milliseconds, the sky is burning with a brilliant blue glow. It's the signature of an energy release so immense, it suggests a nuclear detonation.
During a thermonuclear blast, the energy and radiation excites nitrogen molecules. And they give off light, which we would see as this kind of blue glow.
Analysts fear a potential nightmare scenario.
Rogue nuclear weapons that are available from the Russian arsenal sold to the black market. When you see a gigantic flash and something like this happens, a lot of people will immediately jump to the conclusion, my God, it could be a ground-based nuke that has been set off by a terrorist.
No terrorists claim responsibility for the blast. But this is the former Soviet Union, and the specter of nuclear catastrophe can't be easily dismissed. April 26, 1986, Chernobyl. A flawed reactor at the nuclear power plant suffers a catastrophic core failure.
When Chernobyl blew its top, it spewed 80 tons of radioactive material, contaminating the countryside for decades, if not hundreds of years. It turned an area the size of Colorado into a no-go zone and spiked cancer rates for years to come.
Yet Russia still relies on nuclear power.
There's always a chance of a Chernobyl-like accident happening again. And as it turns out, there is a nuclear power facility located just on the outskirts of St. Petersburg. This facility has the same kind of reactor that blew up in Chernobyl.
But for some, the St. Petersburg dashcam footage is missing key elements of a nuclear power plant collapse.
There are a couple of early indicators that this is not a nuclear meltdown. One of the big dangers is that it is invisible. You don't see these bright flashes, leading to the question, what the hell just blew up over St. Petersburg?
Coming up, a mysterious beast lurks in the shadows.
I don't know what this thing is. It looks dangerous. It looks like something out of my nightmares.
A nanny cam captures a haunting night terror.
There's something about this that just seems otherworldly.
And the investigation into the St. Petersburg blast uncovers a vital clue.
This blast knocked out all the lights on the road.
A blinding explosion rocks the Russian city of St. Petersburg. Investigators analyze the dashcam footage for signs of the cause of the apocalyptic blast.
If you rewind back through the footage, you notice that this blast, whatever it was, knocked out all the lights on the road. The only thing left were the car lights.
Electrical engineer David Wallace believes this blackout is a significant clue. He pinpoints something else in the footage that suggests the strange properties of electricity could be at work.
I see this bright ball appear. You notice that the ball sort of shimmies, it gets brighter, it gets dimmer, it grows. This sort of leads me to tend to think that it's an electrical arc occurring, which then will kill the power to the grid, which will cause all the lights to go out in the surrounding area.
Wallace runs Mississippi State University's high voltage laboratory. To put his electrical arc theory to the test, Wallace generates an arc in his lab to analyze its color and behavior.
So let's see if we can recreate what we saw in the video. We have our Jacob's ladder here set up that will generate our arc.
A Jacob's ladder is a V-shaped device used to create a train of large sparks.
We're ready to go.
It's connected to a powerful generator producing 30,000 volts.
Everybody ready? Yeah. Fire. Let's bring the lights down.
The current courses through the poles, jumping the narrow gap between them. It breaks down or ionizes gases in the air to create a super hot plasma.
Okay, now that we've got the arc going, let's introduce the element of the smoke to see if we can recreate the cloud coverage and the glow like we see in the video. We're now getting a glow around the smoke as the arc goes up through it.
As the heated ionized air rises, the electric arc rises too. The trail of ionization gets longer, becoming more and more unstable, triggering a change of color from orange to white to blue. The same colors seen in the footage.
We got a nice glow around it as the arc went up. It was reflecting off of the smoke.
Wallace believes his results are conclusive.
What this demonstration is showing me is what we are seeing in the video is some sort of electrical arc being reflected off of the clouds.
Investigators consider what roadside structure could pack enough voltage to create an arc of the size seen in the footage.
In cities, you've got high voltage power lines and you've got low voltage in your house. So you need something that can convert in between, and that's called a transformer.
St. Petersburg has 379 transformer substations with a total capacity of 23,000 megawatts. That's more than twice the power consumed by New York City.
That blue-white glow is something you see when a transformer blows out on your street corner. You magnify that by 100 times over, you've got a big electrical explosion.
So if we have a substation where you have a transformer failing, you're going to get a tremendous amount of arcing occurring, which will light up the area around it.
In the wake of the event, Russian state media confirms a substation in South St. Petersburg has exploded. They blame it on an unspecified technical malfunction.
If you think someone has dropped a nuclear bomb on you, you'll be pretty relieved to know it was just a power station that blew up. But you might be really angry it scared the hell out of you.
Now, a B-movie monster in the flesh.
This is definitely something out of the ordinary, something very strange.
A creature filmed lurking in the shadows.
It's like something out of my nightmares.
It's weird, it's maybe dangerous, and it's in your backyard.
Brazil, 2007. São Gonçalo dos Campos, 800 miles north of Rio de Janeiro. A sleepy rural community steeped in ancient culture and tradition. As night falls, a security camera monitors a backyard. All seems normal, until a shadowy figure emerges.
It's dark, it looks like it might be hairy, and its movements are very inhuman.
It's hard to see any real features, but it's definitely got this elongated face.
There's a snout, perhaps. You can almost see a row of sharp teeth there. Looks to be either ape-like or wolf-like, and it kind of stays in the shadows as it moves around.
The mysterious creature appears for a few short moments before disappearing into the night. But it's not the last time it's seen. An hour later, local resident Jolito Apatulido is woken by an unearthly howl outside her bedroom window.
Aí ele pulou numa cerca que tinha aqui do outro lado, foi que eu vi barco, aí acordei ele, Renato, acorda que tem negócio aqui, acabando com o cachorro. Quando ele olhou de cima, aí viu bicho. Parecendo o pelo, parecia pelo de carneiro. Aí quando ele não aguentou mais ver a cachorra apanhar tanto.
For the next few nights, the local radio station is inundated with reports of sightings of the strange beast.
Deram até exemplos de animais que apareceram mortos no quintal, com perfuração estranha.
Many believe the slaughtered livestock, coupled with the surveillance sighting, is evidence of a legendary beast is terrorizing the town.
Parece lobisomem, parece monstro.
Brazil has a long history of werewolf sightings. People have reported being attacked by these creatures. Perhaps this film has captured one of those creatures.
Coming up, mysterious balls of floating fire.
What is causing it? What is creating it?
And investigators consider who or what is behind Brazil's werewolf sightings.
It could be somebody mentally deranged. It could be literally somebody who believes they're a werewolf.
A backyard surveillance camera captures a mysterious creature that some fear is evidence the mythological werewolf is real. Zoologist Darren Naish analyzes the footage looking for clues.
In the footage, we do see some particular parts of anatomy where we can get measurements and work out their proportions.
Freezing the footage, measurements reveal that the figure's upper arm is an almost identical length to its lower arm. This ratio of 1-to-1 is characteristic of a well-known local species.
This does have the characteristic proportions of our species, of Homo sapiens. This footage basically has all the hallmarks of an elaborate prank.
But if this is a human, a prank isn't the only explanation. Biologist Kelly Price researches unusual medical conditions. She believes there are some rare disorders that could explain a werewolf-like appearance.
There is a genetic condition known as hypertrichosis that runs in families, where members of the family who have it have hair all over their bodies, including their faces, even on their eyelids. And it's often known as the werewolf syndrome.
Fewer than 100 cases have been recorded. Nobody knows how many people with the condition are alive today. And some doctors suggest that the super rare werewolf syndrome isn't the only medical condition that could be afflicting the creature in the surveillance tape.
There have been occasional cases of a psychological condition known as lycanthropy, and this is where people become deluded and actually believe they are wild animals of some kind. Typically, they think that they've transformed into a wolf.
It could be somebody mentally deranged. It could be literally somebody who believes they're a werewolf.
But further anatomical analysis suggests this may not be a human figure.
The thing about it is, if it's a person, then they have to be on all fours. And so their legs should be bent in the back. But it really does look like, whatever this creature it is, it has two straight legs.
Investigators consider what native animals match the anatomical analysis.
The yard in this footage backs onto a natural area in Brazil, so we have to think what native animals in Brazil might be coming into this backyard. When you look at the list of all the animals that live in Brazil, nothing matches this character.
But scientists haven't cataloged every species on the planet. There are gaps in the record.
A large part of Brazil is swathed in rainforest, and we know that there are many species that live in that forest that we haven't quite discovered yet. So one could think maybe this is one of those animals.
If we're talking about an unknown species, what better place to hide than a Brazilian rainforest?
Many locals fear this nightmarish beast still remains on the loose.
I don't think we're going to get to the bottom of whatever this creature is based on this footage alone. But what we can tell is whatever it is, it's very creepy.
Until we catch whatever it is, I suppose we'll have to assume that there is a werewolf roaming the forests of Brazil.
Now, unexplained fireballs light up a mystical river.
It's really quite bizarre, and it does make you wonder what's actually going on.
Locals believe they're evidence of a fire-breathing monster.
I do respect the Naga. I believe in the Naga.
Phon Pasai, Thailand. An ancient town built upon the banks of the mighty Mekong River. Flowing 2,700 miles from the Tibetan Plateau to the South China Sea. It's a river rich in myth and legend. As dusk approaches, locals flock to the Mekong, hoping to witness an extraordinary phenomenon. The light fades, and cameras are trained on the sky.
You have this kind of fireball emerging from the water, from the Mekong River, and then it's go up to the sky.
Hundreds of balls of light rise from the river. Some seem to hover. Others streak great distances.
The first time I saw the fireball, I was so excited, you know. Nobody really know where they come from, and nobody can understand what it really is.
When pyrotechnics expert Mike Sansom examines the footage, he confirms this is no regular firework display.
It's not a firework that you'd see on your 4th of July garden display like this, a rocket. Now this sends up huge sparks into the sky, and then it explodes at the end. And of course you don't see that in the video.
Locals' assessments agree, and some are convinced they know what's behind the mysterious light show. They believe a mysterious creature lurks in the swirling depths of the Mekong. A ferocious, fire-breathing beast. The Naga. Coming up. Nocturnal nursery terror.
There's something about this that just seems otherworldly.
And explosive new evidence in the Mekong fireball mystery.
The fact we have these phosphine gas seeps, maybe that could be behind these fireballs.
Scientists investigating fireballs propelled above a Thai river consult local folklore.
People believe that the Naga, the great snakes under the river, can make the light or fire out of their mouths.
For Thai Buddhists, the Naga is a divine being, and the fireballs it creates bear a special significance.
Why they make the fireballs? They make the fireballs to pray for the Lord Buddha.
If a colossal fire-breathing monster is living in the river's depths, it wouldn't be the first gargantuan beast found there. The Mekong is a river of giants. From soft-shell turtles weighing more than 100 pounds to mega catfish growing more than 9 feet long. Evidence potentially supporting the existence of the Naga emerges in the form of a surprising photograph. Local people claim it shows a Mekong River monster captured by U.S. Marines during the Vietnam War.
In this picture, you have about 10 or more of soldiers holding this fish together.
If you ask some people who live in the Mekong River, they definitely think that this is a Naga.
But when investigators dig deeper into the picture's origins, they discover it was taken thousands of miles from the Mekong in San Diego, California. Biologist Dr. Jessica Denduang Borapont has studied the image and can identify the so-called Naga.
It's called oarfish, and it's a very deep sea water fish.
Oarfish are extraordinary giants. Originally believed to be sea serpents, they can grow up to 56 feet long. But they simply don't have the anatomy to breathe fire. Some scientists suspect the murky waters of the river itself could hold vital clues.
There will be quite a lot of organic matter that will be decaying down in the depths. It wouldn't be at all surprising if bubbles of methane gas came up.
Methane, or natural gas, has the potential to be explosive.
If that got ignited close to the surface of a river, maybe we would see some lights on the surface.
Chemist Andrea Sella knows that methane can be ignited naturally and that it can form floating fire. He builds a rig to demonstrate how.
Let me just show you. We've rigged this up in which we have the river, we've got a source of natural gas.
What's missing is a spark. Sella believes in nature that spark would come from lightning.
Now, we're going to create a lightning strike here in the beaker. This is where I get nervous. We'll prime our system. Let's just see if we can ignite. Wow. And you can see that every so often what we get is a little flare, and that's the gas igniting. It's going to rise as it burns, and in doing so, it'll create a rather ghostly effect.
The fireball the gas forms is short-lived, but its shape and color matches the orbs in the surveillance footage. Yet when Sella re-examines the Mekong video, he finds no evidence of an electrical storm that night.
Of course, you're not always going to have a convenient lightning bolt which will set fire to your gas on a dark night.
Sella considers an alternative ignition source.
There are plenty of reports of these things igniting spontaneously. And what could that be?
A likely suspect emerges.
The study found that there were relatively high concentrations of something called phosphine gas. the fact we have these phosphine gas seeps, maybe that could be behind these fireballs.
Phosphine is a rare and highly toxic gas produced when organic matter decays on a riverbed.
The thing about phosphine is that it ignites spontaneously on contact with air.
Sella believes it's only when methane and phosphine are found together that they can trigger a fireball.
It's perhaps a mixture of methane and phosphine which break the surface. And at the very moment when it comes into contact with air, it's the phosphine that provides the ignition and the methane that then provides the fuel for the flame to continue.
Examining the footage once more, pyrotechnics expert Mike Sansom casts doubt on the explosive gas theory.
I don't believe it's a natural occurrence at all.
Mike believes he can identify a special type of pyrotechnic device capable of producing a fast-moving glowing ball. Just like the orbs in the surveillance footage.
I think it's one of these, a mortar. In here, I've opened up the mortar, and you see the star. This is it. It's a composition that burns really hot and really brightly, and this launches into the sky and then just goes out. And that's what I think it is, and I can prove it. So I've got my firing system, I've got my mortar set up in the field. I'm going to set them off with this, and I think it's going to look exactly the same as in the video. These fireworks in the video, they do make a noise when they're launched, but they're so far away. They're the opposite side of the Mekong River. And by the time that noise has reached the audience, there's lots of oohs and ahs, and that muffles it out.
So it could be that this was a natural phenomenon, maybe quite rare, but because of this festival, it's now become a ritual, and the lights in the sky have been accentuated by man-made means.
For the crowds gathering on the banks of the Mekong, there remains only one explanation for the fireballs. The fire breath of the fabled Naga river monster.
The Mekong River is still the mysterious place for people. We have a lot of legends, we have a lot of stories, we have a lot of monsters.
I do respect the Naga because I was born and raised in the Mekong River. I believe in the Naga.
Coming up, every parent's worst nightmare.
There could be some kind of a possession going on.
A child displays superhuman powers.
It's like that kid is being held up by some invisible force.
It doesn't seem normal. It doesn't seem physically possible, almost.
Some fear it's the devil's work.
There could be some kind of a possession going on.
Austin, Texas, March 2016. Nighttime on a quiet suburban street. Cameras guard property, monitor pets, and nanny cams watch the children. After midnight, baby Connor cries for attention.
You can see the baby's in distress. And then, in the strangest motion I've ever seen, the baby climbs up onto the rail of the crib and then suddenly stands up. There's something about this that just seems otherworldly. His glowing eyes, it would seem as though he's definitely possessed.
This kid is a full-on exorcist.
The baby balances on the crib rail for more than 20 seconds.
His balance is perfectly on this narrow thing. Not even swaying, he's just sort of like rigid like a gymnast.
The toddler falls back into the cot, unharmed. His parents upload the footage, and the internet goes wild. Many question the tape's authenticity.
These days, the first assumption is that somebody's messed with the video and somebody's tampered with it.
It's got the demonic kid, the supernatural balancing act, the creepy shadows, and that dubious security cam footage.
The question is it real?
Connor McCord is a video forensics specialist with over 20 years' experience. He analyzes the footage frame by frame, searching for signs of tampering.
When I examined the sequence of the baby, these slats are obscuring the body of the child. And to do some kind of post-production effects to make that look real is very, very difficult. He falls backwards and he hits the mattress. During that fall, I examined those images as he went down, and as he hits the mattress, you see kind of a compression of the mattress. Watch in this area here. See, there's a slight bounce there. I don't think it's a fake.
McCord's initial analysis can't explain why the baby's eyes appear so terrifying.
One really important part of this video that needs to be highlighted is that this kid's eyes are crazy. It truly looks like demonically possessed eyes glaring out.
McCord believes the nanny cam holds the key to the child's devil-like eyes.
It's not a ghost, it's not a devil, it's not any of those things.
Nanny cams work by illuminating the room with infrared light. The camera captures any infrared light reflecting back from an object. One part of our bodies is especially reflective.
When the eye is dilated, there's a reflective area in the back of the eye which causes the eyes to glow. It's kind of like red eye when you see it in a still camera.
Experts still need to explain baby Connor's superhuman balancing.
This little child is doing something that some adults would have a hard time doing.
The way that this kid climbs up doesn't seem physically possible.
Experts are baffled by nanny cam footage of 2-year-old Connor's astonishing feat of strength. Pediatrician Randall Pearson examines the area outside the crib. He spots a vital clue.
The blanket on the floor that you see in the footage may be a sign that he's frustrated and anxious and angry and has tossed that over. He's upset. That can trigger an adrenaline response. It makes your heart rate go up, your breathing rate go up, which thereby gives your muscles more access to oxygen.
Pearson believes baby Connor could be experiencing a physiological reaction called hysterical strength.
Hysterical strength is basically when you are under intense psychological pressure, like if an animal is chasing you, if your child is trapped under a car. There have been documented cases where people have reserves of muscle power that are otherwise not available to you.
Footage emerges that appears to show another child with hysterical strength.
The toddler sees his sibling have a cabinet fall on top of him. Has to figure out how to help his sibling out from under the cabinet.
Somehow, the toddler is able to push the heavy cabinet off his brother.
It's like we're looking at baby Superman.
Connor's nanny cam footage shows there must also be something else going on. He seems to have an unnatural sense of balance for his age.
This is a small child, and children of this age generally have larger heads and smaller feet. Therefore, they have a higher center of gravity. which makes them more likely to fall or to be unstable.
Neuroscientist Monica Haga from the Norwegian University of Science and Technology studies child development. She analyzes the complexity of baby Connor's achievement.
To keep your balance and keep your postural control when you are so small, it's quite challenging. And especially when you are balancing on this narrow edge.
So when I'm standing on the beam, it's only this area where my foot is touching the beam, so it's really small area.
It's so difficult, even just to stand here. We should also remember that he is doing this in quite a high up in the air, and he is also standing in a dark room, so he has no point of references. You need a lot of motor coordination and control to be able to do this.
Haga considers if baby Connor's early experiences could help explain his incredible sense of balance. Developmental therapists in Iceland use special exercises to improve a baby's balance. The program's results are astonishing.
Some of them are about 4 months. What we observed was this instructor was able to make them stand. This shouldn't be possible.
Experts advise against trying this outside of the supervised program and believe it works because babies are forming new neural connections in the brain.
It shows that children, infants, are able to do things that we may not expect.
Experts don't yet know exactly how or why some children demonstrate these remarkable abilities at an early age. Until more evidence is captured, this superhuman feat remains unexplained.
Maybe this kid is a special kid. Out of all the many millions of hours of nanny cam footage, this kid, I think stands out.
If this kid is doing that at his age, imagine what he could do in 20, 30 years from now.